Now, even the Peruvian authorities were astounded because we pointed out this is not an astronaut.
You're the one who found this to be the case.
It's a fisherman. And if you look right here to the right, this figure is over 10 stories high, over 100 feet high. It's on the side of a mountain in the desert. He is holding up his right hand, and there's a fishing line, and there is a 60-foot fish. He's a fisherman.
Yes.
Now, not only that, he's wearing the celebration costume of a Nazcan fisherman, which was like a skirt-like object. So if it's an alien, why is he wearing a skirt and holding up a fish? Many other things about the Nazca lines. Whatever they drew, they also did on pottery. We find the pottery examples. I have a piece of pottery here.
This is priceless.
Yes, it's one of maybe 3 in the world. This is from Paracas, the same area that inhabited the Nazca Plains. This is a fisherman. It's from 2,500 years ago, about 500 BC. And they wore distinctive hats, yes, and they displayed their catch. They had nets. In fact, this one is holding up, a fisherman is holding up on his left hand a fishing net.
Yes.
This shows, and in all their pottery and in their drawings, they were just shown with big eyes, because the fisherman would have to probably have good vision to spot the fish in the ocean.
On this program, just now, Dr. Swift solved a problem that has mystified scholars for 4 decades. And that deserves a real hand of applause.
As Clifford Wilson says, crash go the chariots.
Crash go the chariots. And now, for sake of time, let's look at this before we get to the actual artifacts.
This is a piece of mochi pottery from about 700 AD. We know the mochis were advanced in technologically surgeries and practice of medicine along with the Nazcans. And we see an amputation and a prosthesis here. Not only that, there's a tattoo here on his face. This is in the Rafael Largo Herrera Museum in Lima, Peru, part of the official national collection. There's also on his face, they used to tattoo their bodies. There's a tattoo of what appears to be a dinosaur next to his nose.
Marvelous, marvelous. Now we get to some priceless treasures.
What we have here is 2 stones. There's a number of stones that have been found in Ica, in Tiwanaku, Nazca, and other tombs. And some of them depict, with astonishing accuracy, surgeries. This stone is of a heart surgery. It's probably about 1,500 to 2,000 years old, this stone. There's other collaborating evidence that people performed heart surgeries. Very few people know that in 1969, the Soviets sent an expedition to Turkmenistan, the Marmajan expedition. There they found Neanderthal skeletons that were supposed to be 80,000 years old. But they also found among the skeletons, and this was reported in the official Soviet publication in Science Journal, November 1969. And they found that the Neanderthals practiced heart surgery. They found the skeletons with a precise, exact cut into the cardiac window, the retraction of the ribs, and not only that, that it healed because of the fibrous membrane around it and the bony deposits.
Marvelous.
That they were much more advanced than we ever realized.
So ancient man was not so stupid after all.
No, in fact, the success ratio in trephination, the opening of the skull and performing excising tumors and other surgeries of the brain and head, they found out they had an 80+% success ratio. And the Europeans were so prejudiced in their arrogance that they would not even recognize it because it surpassed 18th and 19th century medicine. Long before Columbus arrived in the Americas, pre-Columbian surgeons were forging ahead with brain surgeries, heart surgeries, cesarean sections, bone transplants. They use catheterizations. They also were curing diseases that are still confounding modern science.
We have the open heart surgery, but now we have in bas relief. Would you describe what is going on here?
What we have here is a open surgery and some type of brain surgery. More than trephination, the skull is opened and the brains are visible, and the operation.
Incredible, incredible. So the creation position is that man was superior from the beginning, and even so superior that he did not need all the technological advancements that we have today. Innately, he was able to make decisions that were incredibly accurate and incredibly successful. Dr. Swift, I think you have some of the actual tools used in surgery from the tombs.
I'm very fortunate that I do have some of the physician's tools from tombs. I do not know all that they were used for, but these are, some of them are bronze and obsidian and other tools. These are the physician's tools buried next to the physician's mummies in the tombs. For instance, here's a tombie, it's bronze, and they use this for surgeries. We also have pottery pieces that show them operating from the mochis and other civilizations. There is a set of tweezer-like devices that works better than our modern tweezers. And this is about 2,000 years old.
Can you hold that still for the camera for just a moment and use it as a set of tweezers? Yes.
And of course, there's an assortment of small knives, metal scalpels.
We're so fortunate that you brought these to the program. Now, you showed me a knife, a precision instrument.
This is a scalpel. It has an obsidian blade. It is wafer thin. It is super sharp. In fact, National Geographic a few years ago did a test on obsidian scalpels. Far from being crude technology, at 10,000 power magnification. Let me say that again. At 10,000 power magnification under a microscope, that this is very keen and sharp. Whereas surgical stainless steel scalpels that we use in surgeries, they're pitted and grooved.
Marvelous.
Sharper.
Superior
in
technology.
fact, Donald Crabtree and some other archaeologists, when they had open heart surgery, they had the surgeons use obsidian scalpels for a number of reasons. Number one is it does not bruise the cells. The body heals faster. And number three, the scarring is diminished. They were very advanced. We know that by the megalithic builders. For instance, the largest stone we can move with our modern equipment is a 160-ton stone. Yes. But they regularly moved 400-ton stones.
Incredible.
From a distance of more than 200 miles, like at Tiwanaku. A 400-ton stone is the equivalent of 1,000 large family-sized automobiles. Not only did they move them, but they placed them together so tightly, like putting your fingers together. It's tighter than that. You can't put a razor blade through it today. You can't put anything through it, a piece of paper. And this is thousands of years later, after earthquakes and everything else. But on top of that, not only did they cut and move stone, but they figured mathematically and everything else, the indention it would make in the earth before they placed it down.
Now, say that again. On a number of the telecasts in recent months, I've told you about the Fibonacci series, the golden mean, the ability of man long before the technology and the computerization of our day. Here, Dr. Swift is verifying that again. Would you say again the mathematical precision with which they
Sacsayhuaman and Tiwanaku and other places in South America, they mathematically precisely figured the weight of the stone, how much it would make an indention in the earth before they laid it down. In fact, they laid the place out so precisely that there's no way we could duplicate it. And not only that, they just didn't cut square blocks of stone. They made angles. And one of the stones has 44 different angles on it. And they interlocked the stones together.
And what pleases me is that we have evidence that these were not aliens interacting with human beings. We have evidence of this technology performed by human beings, evidence memorialized in the tombs. For instance, when a person would accomplish some unique exploit, then that would be memorialized with these stones, and the procedure was to take a rock, cover it with clay, etch into it, bake it. Is that correct?
Well, several techniques. Also, they also did stones in bas-relief. They carved away the stone.
And this is semi-bas-relief here.
But some of the stones they did, we could have a very hard time anyway carving the stone away from it and making it stand up in bas-relief. Very difficult process. An incredible thing about the stone workers of ancient times. For instance, in Egypt, Sir Flanders Petrie, who was a French archaeologist in the late 1880s, he found out when he looked in the sarcophaguses and the tombs of of Egypt, that when you use a high-speed drill, it leaves revolution, little marks, speed marks, all right, as it goes whisk around.